shows it. I said, okay, they must have done the math. If Cat 2 is not the most elegant, then the next round we'll do something different. I don't care beyond a point, The reality is, what structure and all, either this thing is going to be a home run or it's going to be a dud, right? That structure and all is going to be on the edges. That's what I've learned. So maybe you're right, sir, but I'm totally ignorant. So thank you for the advice. I will pass it on to my partners. The hire fast thing, see, my thinking is, again, this is also partly I'm learning from Rakesh Bhaiya's framework. Eventually, I got to the same point. If I found the attitude and the effort right, then I will bet till eternity. But if I don't find those two things, and my problem earlier on, again related to perhaps the imposter syndrome was, Are, iska resume to Stanford, Harvard, here, IIM, Ahmedabad. If that person is not doing well in your company, the problem must be with your company, not with the person. That was the mindset initially. Then I realized that, boss, yes, those degrees are important and they speak to the person's genius at a certain phase in their life. But that doesn't mean they will be able to produce their best in your company, right? So I think that's why I migrated from look early on for attitude and effort. Be very, very careful there. If you see that, then you back. If you don't see that, then fail fast. And I didn't, in spite of seeing attitude and effort lacunas, I sometimes deferred to resume. Resume acha hai. That's all I'm saying. That don't defer to that. My learning was, if the attitude and effort is not right, you should cut bait soon. Please.
That'll be the last one, and then I think everyone's getting hungry.
Thanks. I want to know, what was the financial cost of being ethical when you were first building up your business? How does it compare with the financial cost of being ethical today within your same medical field, medtech field? And can entrepreneurs today who rely on external funding afford to be ethical in the initial stages?
Now that's a brilliant question, young man.
That's the kind of entrepreneur I'd be happy to back, because someone who's self-aware enough to even ask that question is actually thinking the right way. But
so I don't necessarily know the answer to your question, but I will just say that the cost of not being ethical is so high that I don't care what the financial cost of being ethical is beyond a point, right? So for me, if I'm not able to go to sleep when I'm putting my head in the pillow, that's it. Whatever the financial cost is, it doesn't matter. Now, outside of that, I'm really not smart enough to answer your question. Maybe you're talking about corporate governance costs. Maybe there's something to be said about, do we need a high-flying board earlier on in the journey? I don't know if you were going there, but I will say that running ethically is table stakes. It allows you to sleep well for the hours you do sleep. Where you don't get sleep as an entrepreneur. So for the hours that you sleep, it allows you to sleep well, and that I think is more valuable than any cost you incur. Now, having said that, I think you have to have your own framework, right? So for example, the fact that I started the clinical support product line when revenue cycle was already losing cash without formal approval from the board, somebody can scratch there and says that's ethical or unethical. I don't know. In my books, it was ethical because the intent of the decision was based on leapfrogging the business to a different orbit from a positioning perspective. But in some other books, you could argue that was not the best corporate governance step. So those kind of dilemmas and predicaments will always be there. But I think the moment you're taking a decision that makes you question whether you're being ethical or not, that's trouble. No matter what the financial cost is, it's not worth it.